Hello, 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 ladies. This podcast is designed exclusively for you. This is Her Talk Show, where we dive into inspiring thoughts, ideas, and stories, all with one purpose: to empower and uplift women like you. I'm Sabrina Victoria, your host and guide on this journey of self discovery and growth. I invite you to hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. Together, we are creating a vibrant community of empowered women. Get ready to unleash your brilliance. Her Talk Show starts now.
We come to you every day with the best speakers, relationship coaches, spiritual mentors, trailblazers, business owners, authors, young hustlers, podcasters, entrepreneurs, fitness trainers, therapists, financial advisors, and more. We ask our guests one question: what do you know that I don't know? Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
Joining us today for this episode of Her Talk Show, we have had over 500 women grace this stage, and we are adding another one to the list today. If you're listening live, welcome. And if you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can respond to you in the comments. Either way, if you are watching this video, we would love it if you were to share it so we can get more eyes and more ears on the awesome content that we are sharing today. So today I am talking to an amazing woman, a former award-winning financial advisor, television producer, creative scriptwriter, and yoga instructor, Jane Applegath. Known firsthand the power of reimagining possibility using the magnificence of your genius, and she's here to teach you how it's done. Jane is a serial entrepreneur, creative intelligence coach, certified VUCA instructor, and founder of the Epic Vision Zone. She serves passion-driven women who are ready to create financial self-empowerment to become the bringers of big ideas, influence, inspiration, and change. Jane's commitment to end the disempowering beliefs that it's too late, too hard, too pie in the sky for women to prosper and matter doing work they love. She knows that having more, being more, feeling more, and creating more exists for every woman when she learns to feel and access the vision of her dream and make it her new reality. Super, super excited to have her join us today. Welcome, lady.
Thank you, Sabrina. Oh my gosh, that was a fabulous intro. I get exhausted listening to everything I've done. It's like, okay, how old is she really?
I
thank
love
you.
it.
Excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. And this topic that you're bringing, I'm so excited for it. I know that this is like everything that encompasses, what you do for your community, for your clients. And I'm super excited to kind of dive into all of the goodness. So if you could do us a huge favor and just explain Epic Vision Zone, what is it?
Well, yes, I'd love to. First and foremost, the Epic Vision Zone is twofold. It is a video podcast, which I have been blessed to have created during COVID. I know a lot of us pivoted during COVID, and it is a platform for wonderful, incredible, brilliant women like those listening to come and share their brilliance, their knowledge, their resources, so that the rest of us can step into our awesomeness. So that's the video podcast. And then the other side of the Epic Vision Zone is teaching women how to step into their epic vision, because we all have a vision and we're all living in a vision, whether we believe it or not. The question is, are you living in your default vision or your desired vision? That was really a light bulb for me, because, we always think of vision as some fanciful, dream that we have out there. But really, a vision is it's a determined manifestation. So whether we believe it or not, we are living in our own stories. So the key is, do we live in a default vision, meaning the old habits and just going along with the flow, or are we living in our desired vision? Because, when our thoughts are no longer a record of the past, but a map to the future, that is when we can draw and open up to us. And it's amazing when that happens. So I'm the facilitator to provide that gateway, if you want to put it, for women to step into their awesomeness and wear their crown proudly.
Absolutely. What is this concept as far as when your vision is greater than your biggest fear?
Well, when we ask individuals what their vision is, there is what we call a cognitive landscape. Now, our cognitive landscape is coming from a place of either a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. So when we ask individuals, it's a big ask. When I was asked what my vision was, I was caught up in my career and my responsibilities and the home. You get on the hamster wheel, and you haven't been given the chance or the space to imagine what it might be if you were to become something else, someone greater, because that individual is out there waiting for you. So when I say your greatest fear, we are all rooted in security. That's our reptilian brain. We want to stay safe. So we keep ourselves small to keep ourselves safe. It's not a bad thing in our previous lives, but today we don't need that. So when I say greater than your biggest fear, I embed the energy. I walk you through the vision of where you can go and how to get there, so that the fear now becomes a little peanut in the background. It becomes, I call it a barnacle. Your cognitive landscape is, first of all, the awareness. So do you find yourself getting stuck in those fixed mindset? Like, here are some typical fixed mindset. It's too hard. I'm too old. I don't know enough. I'm not enough. Those fixed mindsets. I don't have time. That's the fixed mindset. So once you become aware that that is there, then you can address it and say, okay, I hear you. I know what you're trying to do, but I am going to take a deep breath and I'm going to walk into my growth mindset, because from small acorns, a great oak will grow. I love the Rumi saying that says, you are not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in a single drop. That's in every one of us. That is a growth mindset. And so putting aside those fears and learning that, we all have them. We call them limiting beliefs. There's a lot of different ways that they've been addressed, but those are the fears. I call them the battle scars that we carry around. And I like to say they're barnacles on our journey, and we need to throw them overboard. Get rid of them. They're prickly. They're not good for us. They're going to sting us and make us ill, the stress and the dis-ease. And so when you feel those barnacles, or you become aware that, okay, I don't need you anymore. I'm good. And then that is why, because when we can move the energy of fear and trepidation and hesitation and worth out of the way, then that opens the gateway. Your energy shifts. It's really, that's why I love to work with vision and imagination, because the feminine energy is creativity, and we know how to do it. We just need to give ourselves a space. So that's what I mean when you get rid of your greatest fear. That's when you say yes to what is available to you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love for you to dissect this a little bit. I really
Mhm.
appreciate you bringing up the, the limiting belief of I don't have time.
Mm.
I think most people can relate to that. And there are people that are stuck in their life and they can't move forward because they legitimately believe that they don't have time. So, for those listening, we have a ton of people listening live right now who maybe are like, I get it. I hear you, but you don't get it. I really don't.
I do get it. Yeah.
I really don't have time. So, can we just take a moment just to kind of break this down a little bit of what that would look like for a person who is sitting in that space and how they could break that, an example of how someone could break that down for themselves?
Right. Well, thank you. That's a great question. All of the things that we believe, including the time element, are rooted in our DNA, I guess, if you want to put it that way. It comes from way back from our childhood, from what we've learned. Yes, you could say you don't have time, but okay, so you want to sit back and just take a look at what your day is. I tell people to get out a journal and for a week mark down what they're spending their time on, because we're not aware of what we're doing on a day-to-day basis a lot of the time. And take that and analyze it at the end of the week. Sit down and just look at where you're spending your time. Are there places where you can delegate? Are there places that you are avoiding something and therefore you're filling in the time with foostering, as I call it, which is chores and little things that you're doing here and there? Because we all have the same amount of time, but some people get things accomplished and they still have the time to educate themselves, to do self-growth, to be self-aware and take themselves to a yoga class, for example. I mean, we could always say, oh, I don't have time to get in shape. Oh, I don't have time to prepare healthy meals. I don't have time to listen to Jane and Sabrina on the podcast, right? But really, what it boils down to is taking a look at your priorities. We are only here for a very, very short time. And so when you can put it down on paper, take a look at what you're doing on a daily basis, and then see, I see here that there's some things here that I don't need to be doing, or I can delegate to someone else. Because what you have to establish in your mind is, are you putting yourself first or are you putting yourself last?
Hmm.
And when you put yourself last, you are creating a heavy energy in you. Whether you believe it or not, there's regret, there's guilt, there's all kinds of heaviness there. And once you realize that you are worth spending time on, I love to say this, okay? You know how we save things for a special occasion? Women always do. We have a special dress, we have a special, maybe a special, cutlery, whatever it is, special occasion, right? Message, ladies, you are the special occasion.
Hmm.
You are the luxury. Put yourself on a different pedestal. This is what you have to do. You have to take self-leadership. Once you've analyzed it, once you've looked at it and you say, well, there's nothing here I can do. Now ask yourself, why did I go there? Is that a fixed mindset? Don't I deserve to live my desired life? How do I get there? Because at some point in your life, you have to take self-leadership. And self-leadership is about putting yourself first. And it's not in a selfish way. That is not what I'm saying. It's about the more you can give to yourself, the more you have to give to others. So it's really about telling yourself you're worth it, because you know what? We're never going to have the time until we make the time.
I love this so much. The more you give to yourself, the more you can give to others.
That's right. It's so true. And the more, and it grows exponentially. It just gives and gives and gives, because the universe never says, or excuse me, the universe always says yes. So think about it. Keep that in mind. Whenever you're saying something to yourself, say the universe always says yes. So what does the universe say when you say, I don't have enough time?
Yes.
I don't have enough money.
Yes.
Exactly. It's saying yes, yes, yes. And the more you keep saying it, the more it's going to be true. So you have to take it out of your vocabulary. That was one thing I said, that words are so important. The words carry through, whether we say it or someone else. They are giving a message to the universe, and it always says yes. Okay, you're never going to have time. How do you like it? Face it, right?
Yeah.
And when you put that perspective on it, you're like, oh my God, she's right. I'm inviting it to myself. I keep saying it, and it's going to keep happening. So for the first thing, stop saying it. Stop saying it. Say, I have abundance of time. Time is my friend. I can manifest anything I desire with the time I have, because it is abundant. Start changing your inner dialogue and start to see what happens. Even if it doesn't feel right, you go, this is ridiculous. Or put it in another way, an affirmation, as Dr. Noah St. John says, because our brains are an architect. And when we stimulate them, they start to work for us, creating new patterns. That's the neural pathways. So think of it this way. Why do I have so much time? Instead of saying, I have abundance of time, right? Because that, you might not believe that. You're like, yeah, I don't believe that. But ask your brain, why do I have so much time on my hands? And your mind, your brain will start working, looking for the solutions, looking for the possibilities. It's starting to build new neural pathways.
Wow.
The brain is our architect. Isn't that magnificent? I love that. Why do I have so much time?
Yes, that's
Why?
a powerful question too.
Yes. Why do I have so much time? And you're going to sit there and go, holy crap, I don't know why. But your mind is going to try to find out why. Why do I give myself so much self-care? Okay. But start thinking of these affirmations in a question, and you change the entire dialogue.
Yeah.
Isn't that a light bulb?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask, while we're on this subject, because I can even just feel this coming up for myself, thinking back, right? All of the excuses, all of the you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. I've been there.
I want to touch a little bit on identity. Because that at least for me, right? Not trying to project my story onto anybody else, but for me, I had to I got it. I was like, okay, I get this. But then when I would try to change it or ask the questions like what you're saying, my mind didn't want to let go. Because my identity was so intertwined with whatever that limiting belief was, where it was like, if I got rid of that, then now I don't have any excuses. And that's scary. That's scary. Because then it's like, well, I am not hitting any of my goals. Why then? You have to take a hard look. So can you talk a little bit about identity being connected to our limiting beliefs and how to maybe separate those, like maybe a tool or a thought that we could use?
Yeah, this is fabulous, because this is right up my wheelhouse. This is where the vision comes in. Okay. One of the things that we have forgotten to do is play and imagine. Einstein always said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. because that is one of the things that I step women through. And the story you tell yourself is the story that you live by. Okay? Remember that. The story you tell yourself is the story you live by. So, what do you aspire to achieve before you die? It says here that 99% of the world does not believe that it can do great things. So they shoot for mediocre goals. All right. So in your case, you're making or in a lot of our cases, we pretend that we're telling ourselves a story that when I have these excuses, I don't need to do this. Okay. Think of your cognitive landscape. Now, what is that? That's your fixed mindset. All right. So we want to pull you out of that fixed mindset. Remember, awareness is number one. Knowledge gives you the ability to understand what's happening. And once you understand, then that's when you can address it. You can't change something that you don't know needs changing. Right?
Yeah.
So you've got this. And what I do is I get people to write down those issues that they say are keeping them either small or mediocre, or the excuses that they're giving themselves to keep themselves busy or in that spot. And then I ask them to, on the other side of the page, write the opposite of what that might be, so that they can look at these when things come up or become more aware of what they're doing, and then go back to what they wrote as the opposite. And you're trying to build new neural pathways. You see, you're trying to change the programming. And unless you become, so the first thing is the awareness, writing it down. The second is take your imagination, give yourself some space, write down the opposite. And if you're having trouble with the opposite, Google it. That's what I do all the time. What is the opposite of, give me one of the examples that you tend to do so that you can make an excuse. You say you don't have enough time?
Or, yeah.
Okay. So the opposite will be, I have more time than I know what to do with. Okay. Mm-hmm. So do this. And then when you start to, then you start rewiring. I know it sounds like a silly process, but it's really not, because this is what we want to do with our brains. Our brains work on our minds work on a repetition. So the more we realize what we're doing and we work to change it, it's going to start building those new neural pathways. But if we don't, then it's just going to keep reverting back to it. And so you've got that. But then on the other hand, I want you to imagine the individual that you would be. So pick 3 people that you admire. 3 people.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Olivia Pope, my mom, and Barbara Cochran.
Okay. What do those women have in common?
Ooh.
Or what is a trait that you admire about each?
I mean, my mom is very loving and caring and like heart-centered. Barbara Cochran is business savvy beyond. And Olivia Pope is a powerhouse in like feminism and just standing tall in what it means to be a woman.
So what would the emotions be? Now, your mom, you said loving and heart-centered. So those are emotions. So the other 2 ladies, I got the feeling that you feel for their empowerment, their strength, their confidence, their drive, their growth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you list that, then I want you to take those feelings and emotions and put them into your new imagined self. All right. I want you to put those into your new imagined self. and I write it down, because what you write down, when you write it down, it makes it real. And then I've got a thing here for you. It's people don't share their dreams. So then I'd like you to write down what your dream is. All right. If you don't know your dream, I can walk you through. I have a process to walk you through that. But if you know what your dream is, write it down. And I want you to start telling people about it.
Ooh, that's scary for some people.
Yeah, there you go. There's the limiting belief. What is that? That's your cognitive landscape. That is the fixed mindset. Didn't I tell you? So that you have no fear to say to the yes. Isn't that interesting? You just walked right into it. The fear. Yes.
Yeah, people do.
And you know why? Because that's judgment. But the judgment is coming from within, not from without. Because you're judging what they will say to you. When you believe it, when you feel it, when you know it's who you want to be, you won't be afraid of sharing it. That's judgment. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. The one thing that I have noticed, to go right along the same tracks that you're on, is when I talk about my big dreams, my dreams are real big. Like,
I love it. Bigger, better.
It's like, I don't even know how you're going to do that in a lifetime. But what happens is it allows other people to feel comfortable talking about their big dreams. It's like you open it up. Yes,
you open it up, but you also start to believe in yourself. It's self-leadership, right?
Yeah.
So, and don't be afraid of failure, because that's what when you get down to the root of it, that's what it is. You're afraid of failing. So you verbalize these big dreams, but then, you're afraid of the failure, or what's the judgment, right? It's like you said, people say, well, I don't know how you're going to do that. Well, that's maybe then you need to look at some people who are going to support you in your dream. Because are you the supporting character in your dream, in your new reality, or are you the leading lady? Do you surround yourself with supporting characters that support your leading lady role, or are you surrounding yourself with people who are bringing you down? These are all things that, we talk about, but when you put it in a story form and you put yourself as the character in a movie or a book, you are the leading character. So your leading lady role, how would she address this, right? How would she address the fear of speaking to others of her dream? She would say, I'm going to do it. And you know why the bigger the better? They say a BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal, because we grow through adversity. So the bigger the goal, the more, adversities there might be, there are more hurdles to overcome. But every time you get over a hurdle, you have grown. Every time you speak your dream to someone, you have grown. Now, if that individual says, I don't know how you're going to do it, go, okay, I'm going to find somebody who says, that's fantastic. Yeah. I think your dream is great.
Yeah.
And see how that shifts your energy, because that's where you want to go, right?
Absolutely.
And then the fear goes, and then you like you said, the things that come up for you to help you give excuses not to move forward start to go by the wayside. Because you're starting to become the person in your desired vision. It's all about creating that character. So that's what I do in my course, is I walk people through the creation of the person that they are meant to be, their divine self. That's what we're all here for. Imposter syndrome is not, imposter syndrome is interesting, because we are the imposters in our default vision. That's why we're off. When we feel that trigger of the imposter syndrome, do you know what that is? That's the universe giving us a message that's saying, you're playing too small. You're the imposter. You're meant to be the big leading lady, but you're playing the imposter. So that's why you feel uncomfortable, because I'm sending you a message. I'm sending you a message, and the message is listen up. Stop being the imposter, because I didn't create you to be small. I created you to be magnificent. See
Wow.
how that changes the whole thing of the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I know we get rooted in all the limiting beliefs and everything else, but in story form, it's really fascinating. And when you delve into that and you start to believe that and you start to feel it, you go, yeah, you're right. I'm playing the imposter. Do I want to be the leading lady, or do I want to be supporting role?
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely something that somebody can envision,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
like when you think of that person in a leading role and then you're like over here somewhere.
Right. But
Yeah.
that's great, because now when you start to do that, you're going to go, oh, I'm playing the supporting role. What the heck's wrong with me? But you know what? That's rewiring. You become aware. The first and foremost awareness, because you can't change what you don't know needs changing. See,
Yeah.
it's I am who you think I believe I am,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So who do you believe you are? The supporting role or the leading lady?
Yes.
I hope that
I,
helped answer your question.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I loved all of that. And this is really making me pivot into the word yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this, you know, this basically tool that you're giving us as far as envisioning ourselves as the leading lady or the supportive character, you're having to say yes
Mm-hmm.
to yourself
That's
and stepping
exactly it.
into that.
You
So
got it.
can you talk a little bit about the importance of saying yes
Mm.
and what's on the other side of that?
Well, yeah, that's becoming your desired vision. The importance of saying that is because you are stepping into who you are supposed to be. Like I said, you have a divine self, and we all have it within us. We all have, you know, we all have barnacles. We all have things that have affected us in our lives. All of us. We don't come without any of that. That's part of living. That's part of growing. I mean, look at how many times I've pivoted. I'm like the quintessential pivoter. From different from the financial industry to film to yoga, and now here I am. But it's fabulous. But it wasn't easy, you know. So what we want to do is understand that each and every one of us has within us the power to be great.
Mm,
And that power is not meant to be here to be wasted. We have a very short lifespan. And I don't say that to be a Debbie Downer. It's really what the story you tell yourself is the story you live by. And so, what do you aspire to, or who do you aspire to be before you die? I mean, seriously, it's your greatness is within you. And what we need to do is just change the frequency of what you're emanating. All right. When I went back to words, and I know this is a long roundabout, but when you say words that are positive, okay, you are upping your frequency, as I put it. I say that there's static in the air. Okay. So there's all these things that keep us busy, like you said, and all the things that draw us back and all the things that keep us from doing what we want to be doing. That's static. All right. But when we start to talk, the universe just wants you to be happy. Okay. Because what happiness does is it raises your energy, it raises your vibration. And that's where you're supposed to be, in your happy space. I know it sounds so crazy, but when you do, that's when you start to see the things happen. I'll give you an example. This is really interesting. Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones. Okay. He was asked once, how he came up with the hit song Satisfaction.
Ooh, I love that song.
Yeah. And he said, well, I always keep a pen and paper by my nightstand. And he said, it came to me in the middle of the night. He said, and it's not mine. He said, I just happened to be there when the universe threw it out and I grabbed it. This is him saying this. And he said, and if I hadn't grabbed that, he said, somebody else would have. He said, because the universe is out there giving us information, but we're not open enough to receive it. And so ask yourself, are you open enough to receive your greatest self? Are you open enough to receive your greatest story? Are you open enough to believe that you can be who you want to become in your desired vision? And when you answer those questions, if there's a no there, then say, okay, I'm aware that I'm saying no. So how can I change that? And there's nothing wrong with make belief, because it's dream, behave, become. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the old adage, fake it till you make it. I mean, it sounds so corny, but you know what they were doing is they were placing themselves in their future self to become, because they were emanating the energy of their future self.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you do that, that's when you start to see all these things happen. That's when you find that gift from the universe. That's when you see things start to, I know it sounds esoteric, and if you're not a believer that we're energy sources, which I totally believe, then it's going to be a different story for you. And you can do it the hard way. You can push your way through. You can really do that. But let's face it, that's a lot of stress and push. But if you really, it's the world of make-believe. It's the world of make-believe. So pick some people that you admire. Ask yourself what you admire about, what the emotions evoke in you, okay? I want you to emote emotions. And go out one day and just pretend that you're that person. I'm not saying go in a conference and pretend you're them and start talking. I'm saying just pretend some of those characteristics, start to embody them, even if it's the way they hold themselves or dress, or how heartfelt they are, like your mom. You know, just go up to a stranger and say, oh, you know, like, I'll tell a woman she looks great because I love the way she dresses. And you know what? I was like, wow, that's great. You know, but yeah, it's fake it till you make it, because that will bring the energy to you to elevate yourself up to receive who you're supposed to be. Live in your desired vision, not your default vision. The first thing is you have to realize where you are. And I could tell you 99% of the people are living in their default vision. You are living your supporting character. You are not living your leading role.
Definitely agree with all of that.
Yeah.
100. This has been fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I am so passionate about this because I know it's possible. And I love it because I invite play. I invite us not to get so rooted in the thinking and the overanalyzing and the, you know, because that really brings our energy down. You know, what are your core values? What are your, you know, intentions are great. Intentions actually are better than goals, because goals have a beginning and an end, but an intention actually provides us with a focus. So I like to say that your vision, a defined vision, is not wishful thinking. It's deliberate manifestation. And think of it as a compass, okay? It directs your energy, your creativity, and your actions towards your desired future. That's what your vision is. It's your compass. It's directing your energy, your creativity, and your actions towards a desired future. So always have a vision. And the bigger, the better. The crazier, the better. I don't even care if it's that you want to fly. Okay, well, what does that mean? You know, if you want to fly, okay, so you like adventure. You like to see different things. What does that mean? You know, unpack it and go, okay, well, now what can I do about that? Well, maybe you could be a blogger and travel and go and travel. I don't know. but let's have some fun and explore, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
there's enough heaviness out there. But when we do that, we're actually making space. And when we make space, we're pushing the static away and we're inviting in the universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. And I love this too, because it's really giving room for other people to rise. One of the things that I talk about a lot is we have to continue to evolve so that other people can continue to evolve and fall into our place. Like
Oh,
you said, you're
absolutely.
like, I've pivoted several times. Well, somebody had to fill those areas of which you pivoted. They're now taking up that space so you're where you're at. And then you have to evolve again.
Yeah.
So that somebody can then fill the space that you're in right now. So it's a continuous evolution so that we can all, it'd be like if we all just stayed in high school.
Yeah.
You can't just all stay in high school. Like you have to go on and pivot and grow and
That's a
do.
great analogy. I love that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, are you stuck in your high school? Yeah. I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's your character.
Yeah.
Are there some things that you've dragged with you since your high school years that you're still afraid of? I bet there are,
Yeah.
right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Sure.
I bet there are. And so okay, so there's the awareness, and that's interesting. So does your character grow or is it stuck?
Exactly. Is
Yeah.
it stuck?
Is it stuck? Right. See, I mean, and laughter is fabulous too. I mean, we really, and here's a few little tips. A daily intention, if you write down something every day, don't make it heavy or too much to deal with, and be specific of what you want to manifest. So write down a daily intention. So a daily intention would be, I'm going to give to myself today. The goal would be, okay, so how are you going to give to yourself? I'm going to go to the spa, or I'm going to take a yoga class. That's a goal. But the intention is I'm going to give to myself today. And then always keep it positive. An intention should always be positive because, it's never the opposite. And write it down in the present tense. Don't make it the past tense, and be clear of your why. So why is that important that you want to give to yourself? Well, because it helps me grow. It makes space. It calms me, whatever it might be, and keep it short and sweet. But those are just a few little tools that we can use as reminders to ourselves, because we do need to keep reminding ourselves. It's a process. We're here to learn and grow. That's why we're all here. And that's why I love talking with you and sharing other women's stories and inspirations, because when we light the light for others, they go forth and light the light for others as well. A rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if there's one inkling of inspiration that I've been able to light a spark of today, then I am so happy, because that's why we're here. Yeah. We're all here, and women have the feminine This is our time. I am telling you, this is our time, girls. Put on your crown. Stop playing small. Yeah. Wear it proudly. I don't care what you do today. Just do something that's out of your realm. Something different, and see how it makes you feel. Your feelings and your energy are everything. Do something that makes you feel good. Do something that makes you feel excited. Even if it's making yourself a coffee or going to get a coffee, I don't care. I made a point of one day I went, I go to the coffee shop, and I made a point of saying hello to people that I didn't know. And that's not uncomfortable for me. I'm very forward with people, but I would go up to somebody and say, "Oh, I love your socks. Oh, hi, how are you? Have a great day." And you know what? I felt fabulous at the end of the day, because those people were so happy that somebody had paid attention to them or said something nice to them, because we don't do it. But you know what that does for you is it opens up your door, and you start to realize, wow, I can make a difference in anybody's life just with a little something, because we all can do it, and we all have it in us. And women, we need to lead the way. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So vision, live in your desired vision. And I can help you get there, because it's all about taking what you want, seeing where you want to go, building your character and what that means, and then how to step into that, and throwing your barnacles overboard. Just get rid of them. Make it a happy thing. Oh yeah, I see you. Get out of here. You're all prickly. I don't want you anymore. Go find somebody else to stick to.
Absolutely. Well, this is awesome. For those watching live, we have a ton of people hanging out, watching live all the way to the end here. Thank you for being with us. Let us know where people can find you, your website, your social media, so those that are listening can find you.
Yes, absolutely. The website is there where you see it. It's janeapplegath.com. That's GATH as in the.com. And I am most present on Instagram. So my Instagram is at Jane Applegath. I also have LinkedIn and Facebook, but like I said, my most active is Instagram. I'm also on YouTube, but this is under my Epic Vision Zone, which is the talk show, the video podcast. And I believe that's it. And you can find all that information there. I do have a free download on my website that you're welcome to go to. If you want to get in touch, there's a place where you can do that too, or just shoot me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer your call. This is it says the gift of the gifted lies not in the genes, but in your mindset.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. For those of you listening live or on the replay, if you resonated, make sure that you connect. And we love to make sure that we all rise here. So do all of the things to connect with Jane Applegath.
Yes, I'd be happy to hear from anyone and everyone. And I'm hoping that you've got a little tidbit of Epic Vision Zone.
Yes.
Yeah. We're all here.
Definitely. Well, that brings us to the end of yet another Her Talk show. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Jane.
It's okay.
I hope I'm not the only one.
No, I get it all the time. I don't know why, but I do.
We love every single one of our listeners. Thank you for staying until the very end. Your support and engagement means the world to us. Once again, I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to have conversations just like this one. As always, do something awesome today.